Hi, I'm Danica Fine with Confluent, here to tell you what's new in Apache Kafka 3.3. We have a number of great KIPs in this release, so without further ado, let's jump right in. As usual, the release is broken up based on what the KIP pertains to. In this release, we'll cover updates from Kafka Core, KafkaStreams, and Kafka Connect. First up for Kafka Core, we have KIP 709, which affects OffsetFetch requests. Currently, applications have to submit a separate OffsetFetch request to the group coordinator for each group ID. As you can imagine, this can be pretty tedious. With KIP 709, the process has been streamlined so that a single request can be made to fetch offsets for multiple groups. Overall, this reduces request overhead and simplifies client-side code. KIP 824 affects the Kafka dump log tool, which allows operators to sample logs from topics. Now, unfortunately, this tool used to inefficiently dump the entire log, but with KIP 824, the new max bytes parameter allows operators to sample only a small slice of the log in a more efficient and scalable way. Also impacting operators is KIP 827, which exposes both the log directory total bytes and usable bytes metrics via the Kafka API. These can be used to programmatically check the state of various disk-related operations. Log recovery is an important process that is triggered whenever a broker starts up after an unclean shutdown. To better monitor this process, KIP 831 introduces two new metrics, RemainingLogsToRecover and RemainingSegmentsToRecover. Both metrics are offered on a per-thread basis. And finally, we have KIP 851. With the offset fetch request, there's a Boolean requireStable flag to indicate whether to tolerate pending transactional offset commits in the group coordinator. The AdminClient uses offset fetch request in its ListConsumerGroupOffsets method, where the requireStable flag is always set to false, which isn't very useful for getting committed offsets with exactly once semantics. With this KIP, the AdminClient now has the ability to choose to either include or exclude pending transactional offsets. Next up, we have a couple KafkaStreams KIPs. KIP 820 extends KafkaStreams to use the latest processor API. With this update, it's now simple to chain results from processors and have more control over what's forwarded. The second and final update for KafkaStreams is KIP 834. This change adds pause and resume to KStream's topologies, allowing users to pause the processing, punctuation, and standby tasks of the topology. Overall, this makes it easier to do a number of things, like reduce resource usage when processing is not required, modify logic of KStream's applications, and respond to operational issues. And finally, we have an exciting Kafka Connect KIP that should be music to everyone's ears. KIP 618 introduces exactly once support for source connectors. To achieve this, a number of new connector and worker-based configurations have been introduced. Now, keep in mind that not all source connectors will support this, so I recommend that you read the details on the KIP itself to understand which of your connectors can take advantage of this new functionality. All right, that's all that I have to share for now. Until the next release. What are you doing here? It's happening. That's right, folks. With KIP 833, KRaft has finally been marked production ready for new clusters only. And just so you know, there are a few limitations. You won't want to use KRaft in production for new clusters if you're using Scram, JBOD, certain dynamic configurations, or delegate tokens. Check out the KIP for more details. A ton of work was involved to make this happen, and quite a lot was done to improve KRaft since Apache Kafka 3.2, such as ensuring fenced replicas don't join the ISR when in KRaft mode, improved controller health checks, and new error metrics. But it all adds up to production-ready KRaft for new clusters. Now, when can existing Zookeeper mode clusters migrate to KRaft? Great question, I'd love to tell you. While the timeline is subject to change, currently you can expect to be able to upgrade existing clusters from Zookeeper mode to KRaft mode with Apache Kafka 3.5. The community is targeting early access with limited unstable APIs as part of release version 3.4. And the current plan is to have version 3.5 be a bridge release. At the same time, you can expect Zookeeper to be deprecated and then removed as part of Apache Kafka 4.0. And that's all I have to share for now. There are a ton of KIPs involved in this release though, so as usual, I encourage you to head on over to our Confluent blog or take a look at the release notes to check them out in more detail. And of course, I look forward to hearing about what you build.